Have you ever gone into an interview and you're not so sure if you passed? Like, you didn't really do bad, but you're not sure if you did so good either. And you're just like, will they reach out? Well, I am going to share with you today 8 signs that you failed your interview. This will help you to just move on, apply to the next company or reapply to this company that you failed the interview for. So yeah, here are 8 signs that you failed the interview. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tabieta, and if you love the vibes and you love the energy, most importantly, if you find the information in this video any at all helpful, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button below, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications, because you never know if the next job or the next video that I post will be the one for you. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video, shall we? Alright, so number 1, if your interview ends early. Now, let's say you had a 30-minute interview and it ends like 5 to 10 minutes in, or let's say you have an hour interview and it ends within 25 minutes. Not a good sign. So everybody knows the longer the interview, the better chances you have of passing that interview. If the interview is interactive, if they're impressed with you, it's the longer the interview will go. However, if they're not so impressed, 5 minutes in, they'll be like, that's all we need to know, bye. But yeah, so if the interview ends super duper early, you may have messed that one up and you might just want to look into other options. So the next thing that I want to get into is things that interviewers say that kind of indicates or hints that they will no longer or they will not move on with you. And number 1 is, we still have a lot of candidates to interview. Recruiters or hiring managers typically say this to soften the blow. They know that the email that you receive next, if you receive an email, will be telling you that, listen, we're going to, use somebody else. Yeah, so if they say this, really and truly, they're just trying to soften the blow. But if they said something like, hey, we still have a lot of candidates to interview, however, just stay patient, we'll reach out to you soon. If they're that specific, then they actually want to move on with you. It's just that they have to complete their due process and interview everybody else. But if they just say we still have a lot of candidates to interview, it's just like so in case you don't get the job, just know we had a lot of persons to choose from, and it's not you, it's me. Yeah, that's not a good sign. Right. So the second thing that you don't want to hear during your interview is, can I give you some advice? Listen, if your recruiter says this, then you messed up. There's no going around it. It's either the interview, how you portrayed yourself, or your resume, but something did not hit. It's can I give you some advice in another language? It's pretty much saying, you messed up, but I'll just give you some tips so that when you try again, you can avoid this and maybe you'll pass. So you don't want to hear this in an interview. So yeah, if they're giving you advice, in your interview, then you probably won't get the job. So the next thing that you don't want to hear your interviewer, your recruiter, the hiring manager say during an interview is, we will be in touch. Again, softening the blow. Not gonna lie, sometimes they genuinely mean that they will be in touch. It's all about how they say it. Because listen, most times when you actually, impress the person that is interviewing you, they will be specific, they will be clear on the next steps. So they'll say, we'll reach out to you soon with instructions on XYZ. This is what you are expected to do next. I've actually been in an interview where while the interview is going on, the recruiter is saying to me, hey, this is what we want you to do next. I'm actually typing up the email to get it off to you, and within you can almost say while I was on the interview, I got the next step via email, because it was seconds later. So of course, sometimes when they say we'll be in touch, if they're clear about the next steps, then yeah, you definitely impress them. But if it's just we'll be in touch, then they're just softening the blow, because or they won't reach out to you at all. Alright, now this one is a bit ridiculous. So if your hiring manager say to you, we're still trying to figure out the role. Like, you're telling me that you posted the role, you posted the job, you're interviewing me, and you haven't figured out the role as yet. No, this is normally a sign that you didn't impress them and they don't want to work with you. However, if they were actually being honest to say that they're still figuring out the role, then listen, you got away. Run, because that's a red flag. Who wants to work with a company that is at the interview process and still figuring out the role? They might just did you a good one, so take up your legs and run. Pretty much they wouldn't want you, they're not impressed. But either way, this is not a good way to get the information across, if you ask me. Like, what do you mean you're still trying to figure out the role? Yeah, but as I mentioned, this is just another way to soften the blow. So this is not something that you want to hear during an interview. So enough of what you don't want to hear them say, but signs again that you should look out for. Okay, what number are we at? I think this is now number 6. Right. So if they don't ask you if you have any questions, like if you're at the end of the interview and your interviewer don't say, okay, so do you have any questions for me? That's not a good sign. It's definitely giving, they're not really interested in moving forward with you. You did not impress them, and they're pretty much trying to just prepare for the next candidate and the next interview they have within the next 10 minutes. Rude. But yeah, if the interviewer asks, do you have any questions, this is at a point where they can get to sell the company to you, and they would want to sell the company to you if they're interested in hiring you. Yeah, so not a good sign. And even if it's a case where they just didn't ask but they're actually interested in you, then that's just rude. It's not polite, and you're probably bad at your job as a recruiter. They're polite and they actually give you the chance to ask a question, and they ask, do you have any questions for me? No, this is the sign that you should look out for. So it's not that they're necessarily impressed with you right now, but they just wanted to be polite and ask, do you have any questions? And you ruled out something like, let me know the benefits of working for the company, or what would you say what would you say are the benefits for working for this organization? Or let's say your interviewer is Karen and she's been there for 6 years, and you're like, oh Karen, I see that you have been working with this organization for 6 years. What are the key benefits? What made you pretty much stick around? Now, this is an opportunity for a recruiter who wants you to sell the organization. If they're impressed with you and the interview is going good, at this point they will take the time to tell you about their culture, their benefits, sick days, this and that, and why they love the company and why they're selling it. This is where they can sell it to you. But if you ask that question and the interviewer lacks enthusiasm, or they're just like, and give you like a very dry answer, more than likely you are not impressing them, or the recruiter is really bad at their job, because this is an opportunity to sell the hell out of the company that they work for. So yeah, so let's say it's a case where you ask, hey, what are the benefits? And this is a candidate that they're looking like, listen, we know that we want Tabieta on the team. They're going to tell you everything that you need to know, or everything that makes their company great and why you should work for them. So definitely look out for that. Finally, this is a sign that you can also look out for. So let's say for some reason, or at some point during the interview process, you reveal that you have another interview with another company. if the recruiter, if they don't ask questions like, okay, where's that process at, or asking you for a comparison, or how far along are you in that process, if they don't try to get any information like that, you're probably not impressive, and they probably weren't planning on hiring you anyways. If you mention that and they're like, oh okay, and move on to the next question, or oh okay, and wrap up the interview, or they pretty much give you a very dry answer, listen, just go ahead and look for the next opportunity, because these are all red flags, these are all bad signs. These are signs you don't want to see during an interview, because these signs can mean that you probably failed the interview. Now, of course, it's not the end of the world. There's always ways to bounce back. Not because you fail, it doesn't mean that you cannot try again. So don't take this video as me only showing the negative things. These are the things that I want you to avoid during an interview. So now that you know the signs that you should look out for, you should be good to go. But remember, even if you fail, you can still reapply to that same company. Oh, listen, you can ask your interviewer for advice. If you see, sometimes we know that the interview just went like this, and we come out and we cry and we say to somebody, oh, I'm not gonna get the work. How about, just asking, what are the next steps? And based on their answers, are there any advice? Can you tell me what I could have done better? I mean, persons will give you information. Persons don't have any problem teaching or edifying. Just ask and they will let you know. Is there anything that I could have done differently today? They will let you know where you went wrong. If they didn't offer to give you advice, they will let you know what you could have done better. If there's something on your resume that you can improve. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, okay, when can I apply again? Some companies will tell you, oh, you can apply again immediately. Some companies will tell you you have to wait 90 days. So not because you fail, it doesn't mean that you should stay down. Learn from your mistakes, brush it off, and apply again if you really want that job, okay? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I actually really do hope that it was informative. If it was, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Tabieta_. Don't forget that you can check out my website. The link will be in my description below if you want to have a one-on-one coaching session with me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate your support, and don't forget to share this with someone that you think the information could help. All right, love you guys. Bye.